All right, so before I get into this, Cody, is there any sort of warning? Oh, okay, so 2018, so this is relatively new.
This one had a lot of stuff going on.
Oh, this is one story. This is
It's a hefty one.
and you shrunk down the print too. Ooh, strap in, guys. Strap in. This is a long one coming in from Bob. So, oh, I skimmed the page and I saw UFO. Woo doggy. This is a first on the show right here. This is a first. Bob, thank you for writing in. By the way, before we start, you can write in at hellfirehollerpodcast@gmail.com. Share your stories with us to be read here on the podcast. On a Monday in mid-December 2018, in the early hours of the morning, maybe around 3 a.m., I got up for work. I gathered my belongings and stepped out into the cold. The air was still. At the time, I was 40 years old. I had served in the Army, both on active duty and in the reserves, and I'd completed 2 tours in Iraq. After my second deployment, I came home, I got married, had my first child, I'd eventually have 2 daughters, and bought a house in the South Shore area of Massachusetts. The town I live in borders Plymouth, the area rich with historical significance, the landing of the Mayflower, King Philip's War, the bloodiest war on American soil per capita from 1675 to 1678, and of course, the infamous Bridgewater Triangle. That's where people report seeing puckwudgies, Bigfoots, UFOs, and all sorts of spiritual activity. Now, if you're like me, you're probably wondering, what the fuck is a puckwudgie? So, for your convenience, this is a puckwudgie. It's
Small
adorable.
human-like creature that lives in the woods.
Yeah, that's what greeted the folks on the Mayflower. They got greeted by Puckwudge. The Puckwudgels. Puckwudgelsworth. Cute little
Hopefully
things.
they weren't oily puckwudgie.
Nothing worse than an oily Puckwudgie. You know what's worse than a Puckwudgie?
A shushing puckwudgie?
A Fuckwudgie.
A puckwudgie?
It's like the fuck boys of Puckwudgies. Back to the story. And right next to my house, an old cemetery with the headstones dating back to the mid-1700s. There's even a Revolutionary War soldier buried there. Backing up a bit, I'd been hearing and seeing things for a while, coming home from war, adjusting to family life, and then dealing with things I couldn't explain. Hallucinations, figures darting past, voices calling out. It was all starting to wear on me. Even though I'm married, I usually spend a lot of time alone. So when something weird happens, I don't really have anyone to turn to for confirmation. I don't have the, hey, did you see that? Or did you hear that too? Well, no. Bob, that's a silly question to ask. No matter what around here, if you go, did you hear that? Cody and I are going to go, no.
It's a puckwudgie.
Yeah, well, everyone knows that. Standard paranormal rule. You always party with the Puckwudge. T-shirt. I partied with the Puckwudgies. We're gonna have the coolest T-shirt collection. Oh, it's gonna be great. I tried to work through my issues with creativity, gardening, homesteading, woodworking. I'd rather stay busy than rely on the VA's endless supply of medications. The meds don't help. They just turn you into a zombie. I would see figures running through the backyard. One time I even chased them, and I found nothing. No signs anyone had been there. I'd hear screaming sometimes, screaming my name, sometimes calling for help. One time I heard a child screaming in distress. I panicked, thinking it was one of my daughters. I ran into the house yelling for my wife. Where are the girls? Are they okay? She said, yeah, they're right here. They're fine. I asked, why were they screaming like that? She said they weren't. I felt panicked and I felt foolish, adrenaline pumping. I stepped back outside.
Yeah, that'd be a tough thing to do because, well, I'd say first off, thank you for your service.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you do experience like a paranormal thing, then how many people would just write it off as like, PTSD or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with the VA, I mean, they might be avoiding like giving you any sort of credence of like anything, you
Yeah.
know, like they don't want to pay out, they don't want to help you,
Yeah.
you know. Um, but you know, yeah, you make a really good point. You know, would you be battling internally, thinking to yourself that maybe the scars of war had impacted, you know, your everyday thinking, you know, your sanity, you know, what a struggle. And thank you, Bob, for your service. Everybody in the comment section, everybody in the live chat, give it up for Bob. Give him a hell yeah and a thank you. I often stay outside when I get overwhelmed. My energy can be too much for my family. And when weird things happen, it leads to arguments. So I retreated to the yard just to keep busy. That morning, though, was especially rough. We had just buried someone from my unit over the weekend, so I was already on edge. High stress, anxiety, very little sleep. When I stepped into the cold, clear morning air, I looked up. The sky was beautiful, clear, starry, full moon shining bright. Visibility was excellent. As I walked down the driveway to my truck, I heard a guttural scream from across the street. It sounded like a child in distress, high-pitched but with a gravelly edge. It cut right through me. I froze about 15 feet from my truck. The scream had come from beyond my neighbor's house. As I looked over the roof line, just above the tree line, I saw what looked like a shooting star. What do you think, Cody? What do you think's about to happen?
I don't know. Just, I guess, wait to see if you hear anything else.
The night's perfectly clear. It looks like a shooting star. I don't know, but a shooting star goes away real quick. Just leaves you in wonder. Ah.
Yeah, but you're hearing the scream.
Seeing a light in the sky. I hit the ground. It was an instinct. For a moment, I thought it was an incoming mortar. Ooh, that's rough, buddy. After collecting myself and realizing it wasn't an attack, I stood up. I shook it off, and I tried to make sense of it. Then I heard the scream again, from the same direction. Still confused, I got into my truck. I started it and began driving to work. Just driving to work? That'd leave me rattled.
Yeah,
That would leave me absolutely
because
rattled.
it's he's already heard that his own daughter's thought scream before, and
Yeah.
it wasn't.
Good
And
point.
now he's hearing a
Good point.
more scream. So it's like, do I investigate this and
Just
possibly?
just gets to the kind of robotic, just like all factors being taken into an account. Probably just like a normal day at this point. But you got to go to work at the end of the day. It's just it's crazy. You can feel that Bob is kind of loose-minded. This is all causing him a great deal of something, and I don't think he has any inclination that it is anything beyond his own brain at this point.
It'd be hard to tell because you got people that aren't hearing this and already telling you like, oh,
Yeah.
there was no scream or whatever, and it's like,
Yeah. Despite the freezing air, I left my driver's side window down. The sound had come from the left, so I wanted to keep an ear out. I was driving slowly, maybe 10 miles per hour, wondering what to do. Do I call the police? Do I knock on the neighbor's door? Do I just investigate myself? About 50 yards down, there's an access road to some cranberry bogs. About a mile back, that road cuts between two houses with signs that say, "Do not enter," and "private property." The direction lined up with where I heard the scream, so I turned left. So at this point, he's investigating. He's leaving for work. He can't shake it. He's investigating. He's breaking all the rules. He's going down roads that say, "Don't enter." The hero, the fucking hero, is coming out of this man right now. He's going to get to the bottom of that shit. I think I'd do the same thing. What do you think?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to think of different ways to investigate it, but I'm definitely probably,
Drone.
yeah, maybe.
I could see you setting up. I could see you. I mean, using your head. Like, I could see you sitting on a drone, trying to pick up on what's going on. I could see you getting some great footage too, like you did with those dolphins in Florida. Shit was primo.
Don't talk to the dolphins.
Yeah, we didn't. We talked to that insider though. He was definitely a human on a park bench. I drove slowly down the dirt road, high beams on, eyes wide, scanning everything. Past the residential property line, I came across a large, dirty berm, kind of like a wall, marking the edge between homes and the bog owner's land. Beyond the berm was a small clearing, maybe 30 yards, between the berm and the woods. I pulled into the clearing and stopped. Grass crunched underneath the tires. High beams stayed on. I stepped out. Woo! Inserting yourself into a situation, a dangerous situation. Notice how articulate these moments stick with you so hard. You think on them. I mean, because your storytelling right here, Bob, is great, man. You're really, really painting the picture. But I just find it funny that whenever we get a good story, it's almost as like this has like haunted the caverns of the human brain of this person for so long. You get so descriptive, you can like literally transport people into the moment, and it's so good. So good. In the back of my mind, I was hoping someone saw me turn down the dirt road and would call the cops. I thought about calling myself, but didn't know how I would explain it. If the police showed up on their own, I could just say, I heard something. I was just checking it out. Just keep it simple. As soon as I stepped out, I felt it, a presence. I was nervous, not scared, but keyed up, unsure of what I'd find, and I called out, "Hello!" a few times. "Hello!" No answer. I began walking the perimeter of the clearing, imagining I'd find a child curled up on the ground. Ooh. That's the gut feeling. So it's a child. Yeah, no wonder why the protector, the hero, kicked in, Bob. And you're the type of person that already threw yourself into the service to help strangers. So no wonder you are taking these advanceve actions. The grass frosted under the December cold. It stood about 2.5 feet tall, but was drooping like ice. I checked for footprints. Nothing. No movement at all. Aside from the tracks I was making myself. Still, the image of the child curled up in the grass was so vivid in my mind. I kept searching, calling out, now and then, to make my presence known. I walked the entire edge, no response, no more screams, no movement. But I still felt watched. As I made my way back to the truck, I opened the driver's side door with my left hand. My right hand faced away from the truck. Why do I feel like that's going to be very significant?
Sounds like, yeah, something's coming.
Right? You don't get that specific in a story. I'm just wondering, I'm trying to figure out what it is before it hits, because that was oddly specific. Okay, the next line. That's when it happened. A child jumped on me, grabbed my right shoulder tight. I looked down and saw him. His hands gripped at my jacket, and I could feel his weight holding me in place. I looked deep into his eyes. There was no distinct color, more like dark or beige, but I could see the detail and definition. His eyes were wide, full of fear and desperation. He never said a word. He just stared up at me, clinging to me and my shoulder. Then he was gone, just like that.
What do you mean gone?
Yeah, right?
Did he just evaporate or?
Yeah. Bob, if you're in there, give us a description of what it was like when he disappeared.
Ooh, first moment there, I thought we were dealing with one of the black-eyed children thing.
Same, and I thought we were dealing with UFOs. Like, what's going on? It's a twister. Twisting me up. This is a good one.
Creepy though. I don't know what to do there. Well, it'd be like, okay, I found the kid, or the kid found me, needs help, but then like, oh, he just disappeared.
Yeah, and then
Now what?
Well, then Bob realizes that the child was not the only thing to disappear. His wallet's gone.
And just
that little
got
shit.
mugged.
That little bastard stole my wallet. I'm gonna put it like That little bastard stole my wallet.
Start taking liberties with people's stories. And
He had a identity theft. 2 weeks later, child's like, ran up his credit cards. Son of a bitch. Back to the story. There was no fate. Look, he like answers it. If we just would have been patient and read, he like completely describes like this thing.
Never mind, Bob. Got it.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you for being so in depth. There was no fade out, no blur. He was there, and then he wasn't. Like,
Oof.
Spooky. His weight vanished from my shoulder. I stood there for a few moments, stunned. Then I slowly got into my truck. I turned around and made my way back to the main road, still half hoping someone would report me so I wouldn't feel so crazy. I didn't call the police. What would I even say? I can't call it a hallucination. I felt the kid on my shoulder. I saw his eyes. I know it was real. I heard the screaming 2 more times after that morning. Final paragraph. What do you think? What do you think's going to happen?
Hope we can get. So I hope he can get some
Peace of mind?
peace of mind. Yeah, if somebody else sees it, I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope somebody else sees it, and then he can get some peace of mind that not
Yeah.
the only one.
But then that also confirms like that there's.
Yeah, but I think it's better to
Have the solace.
to know it's not your brain
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
malfunctioning. Possibly.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, let's hope for that. About a month later, I finally spoke to a shaman. I told her everything I had been experiencing. She agreed to come to the house and walk the property. She told me she encountered the spirit of a child. I wonder if he told her ahead of time or not. That would be creepy. If she walked in herself with no like predisposition and came back and said it was a child, that would be exactly.
I hope it was like that.
Yep. Said she encountered the spirit of a child and was able to help him cross over. She believed it was the same child I had met that morning. She said he came to me for help because I'm sensitive to this type of energy.
Definitely seems like that.
For sure. She also said my land carries a lot of energy. It's very old, and with the cemetery next door, it acts as a kind of supernatural magnet. I joked that maybe buying a house next to a graveyard wasn't such a great idea. She said, no, because of the soldiers buried there, and because you are a soldier, they help keep anything negative away. Wow. You never really think about, your companionship and everything that you have in the military. And if we are addressing and talking about the great beyond and ghosts and ghoulies and, like not just that, what about almost guardian angels? That's a beautiful thing she said, and I hope that hit you and makes you feel as safe and protected there, Bob, as I think it would. I think that that's a really beautiful thing that she said.
I'd almost say that because he said it was a joke that maybe it wasn't a good idea to buy property next to it, but maybe he was the perfect person to.
Yeah, maybe it was destiny. Since the shaman's visit, I haven't heard the screams again, so I hope he's found his peace. And if he has, maybe I have too. But thank you for listening, Bob.
Okay.
Bob, thank you for writing in. Thank you for your service. And, I hope that you are surrounded by those that you served with. And not just that, soldier's code, man. Any soldier buried in there has to have all the love, admiration, respect for you that we do here at the Near Death Diary podcast. What a beautiful story. I really thought that we were going UFO.
I didn't know where we were going.
I did. I mean, you see the all capital letters U, F, and O on a piece of paper, and you're like, yeah. But pleasantly surprised. I wonder what that child was reaching out for.
Yeah, I'm surprised the shaman didn't have any. Well, I mean, maybe it wasn't
Yeah.
Maybe they don't share that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
details on what its problem was.
Yeah.
But at least it seemed to have been given peace, and Bob also hasn't heard it again, so
Maybe
gotten
Bob
peace.
was just supposed to bring the shaman.
I think
Could
it felt
have been as simple as that. Bob was supposed to live next to that graveyard. He was supposed to, get the camaraderie of, his brethren. He's supposed to be that perfect person who's
it definitely
protected.
sounded like whatever it was, the child felt safe
Yeah.
and everything with Bob, and that's why he was allowed.
Maybe I would like to think that the child was wandering, not knowing what to do,
Yeah.
And
then who knows?
came across Bob.
I don't know the timeline on like how long had that child been there, like
Yeah, who
haunting
knows?
this area, and then Bob comes along
Bob, if you're watching,
and
have you
basically saves this child.
ever looked at that area, that location, maybe seen if there was a child that fits the bill, fits the description of that area? That's so you got to kind of have some balls to do that shit, though.
Do the
Like,
research and try to figure out the truth of everything.
yeah, because then you see it and you're like, "Fuck, it's real."
I say
It's
we already kind of figured out that it was real.
oh yeah. Well, I mean, I
At this
believe,
point, you're
but as far as like, oh, I don't know. I mean, you're writing into a podcast. You definitely believe it with your whole gusto. You're putting it out there, but it's just putting a name to something. I
yeah.
think it's putting. It's. Thank you guys for joining us for that episode of the Near Death Diary podcast around the internet campfire. I'd like to remind you guys that if you would like to have a story read on the Near Death Diary podcast, you can email us at the Hellfire Holler podcast at gmail.com. And why don't you hit that subscribe button, that notification button? Let us know that you like what we're doing by hitting the like button, and we will see you 8 p.m. for new premieres of the Near Death Diary podcast, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Mondays and Fridays. I'm your host, Deadeye Two Tongues. And we got the Fog Gilly himself, Mr. Cody. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next episode.